Hi, Dawn Lewis here, and it's day 4 of this 7-part series, and I'm going to show you how I made these faux balloons using this stamp set called Bork, that's B-O-R-K. I'm also going to use Pawsome by Waffle Flower Stamps today, and you can find all of these in Australia at dawnlewis.com.au. It's the poodle's turn this time. Okay, I've got some cardstock, I've got a little paintbrush, anti-static powder tool, white embossing powder, I'll be using a heat tool. I'm also got a little chopping board and some white pigment ink, a variety of pink cardstock. It's not difficult, bit of stash diving, let's have a go. So I'm putting anti-static powder tool where I'm going to stamp on my pink cardstock, and I'll repeat this step for the other colours, but I'm just going to show you the one that I'm doing today. I couldn't use my clear embossing ink. The ink pad is drying out, so I used this Whisper White from Stamping Up. It's a white pigment ink. It's nice and wet and sticky, and I wasn't sure it was going to hold the embossing powder, but when I put the powder on, look at that, it's really clung to it quite well, and this ink pad is really old, I've got to say. So we're going to hit it with the heat gun. I really did let the heat gun heat up for probably about 20 seconds before I started using it, and it's melted the embossing powder, which I've repeated on 2 other shades. Using a white gel pen, I'm going to add the little tie-offs to the balloon. So I wanted to make these look like balloons, and I tried a few things like using vellum and so on and so forth, but I really wanted to do something with a scrap that we all have, and that is cardstock. And so this is how we can make those faux balloons from cardstock. And one of the things we need to do is put that balloon tie on because, you know, balloons are balloons. I'm also going to use the white gel pen to draw on some shine lines to give the balloons that glossy look, one on the forehead, one on the leg, one on the cheek. And I think it's worked really, really well. From the Pawsome stamp set, I'm going to use a cake, a present, and the party hat. I'm also going to use a little heart in the oval there. We're going to colour in the pieces, and you can see the colours that I'm using above the colouring here at the top of your screen. And I've really kept it simple. These are the same colors I used in day 1, but I'm just using, I'm using them to create something a little bit different. And I'm keeping it super simple. These limited palettes. Now I could have gone with different colored presents, but this card is really, truly monochromatic. It is 50 shades of pink. I have a girlfriend who's eyeing this card off. She loves all things pink. I think I know what card she's going to get for her birthday this year. It won't be a surprise, I'm sure. But I've also used E50 and E51 for the cake. These are colors I would normally use for skin tone, or if I'm coloring something in cream, like if I wanted a person to have a cream shirt. However, I have discovered they make a great butter cake color. Who knew? A little bit of E50, a little bit of E51, and then evening it all out. Look at that. We've got simple monochromatic colouring with subtle shade. I've cut a piece of pink cardstock, also left over out of my stash, and rounded the corners. You can use any corner rounder you might have. I'm using it to measure off another piece of pink cardstock, and I'm just going to trim a piece down to ground the entire design. It's what's going to hold the sentiment in place. I want to add a little bit of ribbon. This is a really sweet I want to say monochrome. It is monochrome, but ombre. Ombre is the word I'm looking for. This 3mm ribbon goes from dark pink right down to light pink in 3mm. It's amazing. And I've tied a faux bow. So rather than having 2 bits of ribbon and trying to tie a bow, it's very complicated. I just put 1 bit of ribbon around, cut a separate piece of ribbon, and tie a bow on that piece. The happy birthday sentiment is from Lawn Fawn's Beam Me Up. It's a nice small print and it worked really well. And I've paired it with the little heart in the circle from Pawsome. And it's stamped onto a white pierced circle. This one is 1.5 inches. You can see a full list of the tools and the materials that I used over on the blog. I'm just dusting blending lightly around the edge with picked raspberry distress oxide inks. The sentiment is up on foam tape because I just want to give it that little bit of dimension. And now it's time to build our scene. This is our party puppy. I mean, is it really a party if there's not a pink poodle wearing a pink hat? No, it's not. I've taken 3 lengths of embroidery thread, to create the strings for the balloon and just secured them behind the poodle at the back. If the legs were a bit bigger, I would have cut a little hole, but I wasn't up to fussing about with it, and this is working really well. I'm adding the little birthday cake over to the left, adding the little present to the right, kind of tucking it in there behind the sentiment. And now it's time to put just some 3mm double-sided tape on the back of the balloons. Put the string in place, secure it behind the balloon image, and then I'm attaching, making sure that the adhesive on the bottom of the balloon is grabbing the string and then putting the balloon where I want it. And I think this has worked out really well. I'm going to use more 3mm tape to take the entire panel, check that my card base is right way up, and stick it down onto the top. So this is a good habit to get into, checking that your panel is the right way up on a card base that is right way up. Can you just picture this done in a variety of different colors? Wouldn't it be fun? You can use colored cardstock for your balloons, or you could do some white embossing on vellum. That would make an equally attractive balloon. Remember, if you are looking for the ink road and waffle flower in Australia, you can find them at dawnlewis.com.au. Thank you so much for joining me and watching this video today. I really appreciate it. I do hope that you have a very crafty day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.